Let me get you talking. And you called it a comedy of errors. Brown and Bewley say it was a show of shame.
And I think I have another word, disgraceful. It is thoroughly disgraceful hearing some of the things he said. I mean, I'll say this without pulling a punch. If you're going to bring people who are not particularly sports people into the sports confines and expect them to work magic, then you're trying to scratch the ear with the elbow, because that's never going to be possible. Because he's talked about the fact that he's been around the sports fraternity for a very long time. He's been there and done that. Why do we always bring square pegs and put them in round holes?
But we've also experimented. It's not every time you have these ex-internationals get into management and do well.
Yeah. I understand it. It's not automatic. But it's also not possible that someone who doesn't understand the workings in a system will come into a system and do things right. I mean, he's talking about folks, talking about people, punches being thrown around in an election. I mean, you asked the question, when did we get this low? When did we get to a point where sports has become a do or die affair? I mean, it's quite messy, and we're hoping that the sports ministry and the sports minister, it's a clarion call on them. It's a responsibility on their shoulder. It's a mess, and they need to fix it.
It's a mess. They need to fix it. I agree with you. And Cosmos, for athletics, it bothers us because once upon a time, Nigeria used to do so well with track and field, and you see the way Brown was speaking, you can tell that he's pained. That how did we allow politics to take the main play, the main focus out of us?
It's a very simple thing. Nigeria starts having dwindling fortunes in athletics because of administrative lapse. It's a very, very simple thing. Now, you are having issues in athletics. Don't forget there's a World Championship coming up in London. Now, Esa Brume, I just tweeted something before I came in. Esa Brume and one other person are actually traveling to Lansing for another competition as well. Now, these are competitions that should have brought up Nigeria. Now, Nigeria has been taken over by South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire in athletics. And all these shenanigans happening. Yeah, he called it disgraceful. I call it shenanigan. I actually said it's hula balu happening because of all these things is actually affecting the main actors. And that's something that has happened. Now, you check it. Really, look at this case. He was elected
won his elections.
He won the elections and he got there, and before you know it, everything was changed. And of course, he had to fight for it or something. Although I do frown at him saying that the people that doesn't want it will not see the light of the day on national TV. I do frown on that, but he was pretty much saying some of the truth, some of the things that we actually saw that day. Now, my case is this. All these things, it will certainly affect the athletes. There's a World Championship going on. It will affect. Same thing happened in Taekwondo. It affected them at the World Championship.
That's right.
That's the thing. So
because everything rises and falls on leadership.
Exactly.
When it is not in place, then nobody who is leading.
True. I mean, it's the be all and end all. I mean, leadership. If it's not in top class motion, then you can't expect anything to work. Because I'm thinking, you go into an election, there should be modalities. I mean, there should be things that, okay, we've done elections before, this is how we do it, these are the way we need to go into an election. It has to be fair, it has to be square, it has to be on a level playing ground. These are some of the things that didn't happen in the last election. And we keep taking a couple of steps forward and 10 steps backward. And then we have the World Championship is coming up later in the year. A couple of years now we'll be going to the Olympics, and then we expect the athletes to go out there and perform magic, when administratively it's absolute shambles.
That's exactly the point. Because for Brown and Bewley, he didn't understand what's going on. How can you be cleared for election? On the day of the election, they tell you you're disqualified. Rosa Collins, one from the women in sport, got there, and she wasn't even cleared for accreditation.
Exactly.
And she's supposed to be contesting for all of that. And the appeals committee, guys, let's say well done to them. Exactly. They did well. They spotted all of these irregularities. I said, we're going to cancel. We're going to have a rerun, you know. But that's not the story with gymnastics. Gymnastics also was listed as one of the federations that should have a rerun election. But just yesterday, they picked up themselves. They went to the Ministry for Youth and Sports. They said, we didn't have any problem with the election. So why are we part of those guys that will have a rerun election? Let's go to Abuja once again, our studio. The president-elect from that June 13 election, Kelvin Izoge, standing by. We want to understand what really happened and what the appeals committee discovered that made them say, look, this election. Good evening, Kelvin. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
Yeah, good evening, my honorable journalist.
Good to have you on the program. We're trying to understand some of the drama that went down at the June 13 election. The appeals committee, they listed gymnastics as one of the federations that shall have a rerun election. Why did they pick gymnastics? What happened at elections?
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, you see the 6 zones that contested for that election. We took ourselves to the minister's office, that was yesterday, to submit our petition. And today we went back to meet with the PAMSEC, because it was really, really sad for us to hear that news that we have an election. So, and I think with the meeting we had with the PAMSEC today, it was really clear that he got it that they were actually, somehow there was some kind of mistake somewhere. He saw it, and with what I saw today, I think the Honorable PAMSEC and the Minister, they will look at it again, because these are honorable people. I know they will not be involved in anything that is dishonorable. They promise to look at it again.
So your delegates, have they confirmed that no problem? Have you found out if anybody had petitioned against the election that probably made the appeals committee to look into the process for gymnastics?
Yeah, actually, if you look at the group of people that was there yesterday, those are the representatives that won in their zones. There were no issue. Most of us were returned unopposed. Before this election, we already know what we are going to see, because we came returned unopposed. How do you cancel an election that most delegates came returned unopposed, and they all came just to vote one president? And the outgoing president stepped down on that very day for me. And I was declared returned unopposed by this 3 electoral committee that wrote that damaging report. That is very, very funny.
Wow.
One of the most peaceful elections.
So after your meeting with the permanent secretary, what's the update? Did they say that no more rerun election for gymnastics? Is there an official document? Has the election been upheld? What's the update?
Yes, I think as you can see, it was maybe 7 members of the committee that sat down to give that decision. I think they will have to sit down again to look at it, and then before they come out with their final report. But from what I saw today, the Honorable PAMSEC is a very honorable man. I saw that he saw that it was a pure mistake somewhere. When you have all the 6 candidates coming to meet you, that we have no issues. So why would the 3 electoral member write that they were put under pressure? That is really, really wrong. That is really, really wrong.
Before we let you go, one final question. Just in case the Ministry for Youth and Sports says gymnastics, you should have a rerun election. The guys from the zones, your delegates, will gymnastics come out to have another election?
Okay, let me ask you a question too. Who are we going to be contesting against? Because we came returned unopposed. Nobody is complaining, no petition, no issue. They can't say that. That would be pure injustice, and I can't be part of it. I can't be part of it.
Thank you for putting the record straight. Thank you so much, Kelvin Izoge, for your time.
Yes.